And welcome, Super Castlevania 4 Entrance Hall. Iconic location, that is a bad word, that is quite clunky word to say, but I don't think there is a Castlevania title which does not have Entrance Hall in some kind of form, and even a Castlevania derivatives like Bloodstained, designed by guy who designed the Symphony of the Night, and which I would say to be the sequel to, at least in much as gameplay is concerned, that game is a sequel to Symphony of the Night, even though officially it is not. Of course, it ain't officially a Castlevania game, because it wasn't made by Konami, and Konami hasn't sold any of this Castlevania IP, intellectual property. Well, it's still strange that the place is infested with all kinds of all kinds of undead monsters, skeleton warriors, armored knights, all kinds of dangerous, very dangerous, obviously very dangerous things. And yet the biggest peril is not them, it's all kinds of bats, and of course these big swingy giant chandeliers. Well, they are a real nice set piece of Konami showing off that what the Mode 7 can do. These are also animated to give you the even bigger illusion of them moving around, even though this gameplay wise this is quite simple platforming sequence, and it's quite long, this kind of sequence. But why would they add this red flashing light at the background? I have no idea. Was it technical necessity, or did they just wanted to make add some flashiness to the sequence, even though it didn't really need it? And of course there's even a chance to have a swing with a whip. Oh, just calmly and carefully taking some jumps. Of course, falling is instant death, and this final jump, I hope, is of the more long type. So getting yourself near the edge, it would be the wise move. But when you look about how the Castlevania stages go, they do have quite lots of variation in the how they are basically presented. And if I remember right, those armor knights take more damage. Shit. We got flying. We got the we got ghosts running about. Armor knights and all that. Dangerous location. And because I died, that should tell you how dangerous it actually was. Bats are not that dangerous, and the fact that I already died here should be quite clear indicator of how dangerous the location is. But the falling chandeliers luckily are not that, you could say that hard to spot, and upward swing makes easier to fight against these slime, ectoplasm, hazy claves, and despite the real brutal kamikaze nature of those ghosts, they go down luckily with one hit, so it is not that dangerous, even though I got panicked and got trapped, and so and now I got even there was a piece of candle meat. Simon Belmont must be having a, or basically all Belmonts must be, and quite matter of the associate characters as well, most likely have a lot, quite heavy and strong digestions because of all the very suspect amount of lunches, dinners and breakfasts that they eat from the candles and walls. And that's an instant death. I do remember it was that bad. But if I die again, it may look like I have to start saving my progress at this. Yeah, once those things appear, they don't disappear. Oh, they don't leave the screen either, they just keep bouncing about. Which makes them, in a sense, that kind of sense, dangerous. And a wall. Doesn't have wall meat, but it does have... Axe Knights, dangerous, but usually more in level of... But luckily they tend to be, they are in a sense more predictable Castlevania basic enemies, so... And their movement is usually very slow and sluggish, making them in that sense less dangerous than others. Oh, and got through that platforming sequence without much of a, you could say, issue. Well, let's just... Well, just axe that. And of course there would be... They add some more, you could say, visual interest of location to these, which is to say deadly spikes instead of... Oh, that was close. And if there's anything obvious that you could say ambushing enemy, it is that. Although I'm certain that those who are familiar with Castlevania games most likely can think everything, if it moves, it's out there to kill you. And often also, if it looks suspiciously separate from the background or anything like that, it's most likely out there to kill you as well. So being paranoid about things you're facing in this game is not sign of paranoia, but you could say more like common sense. And one of the most toughest enemies in all Castlevania games, yet also one of the weakest as well. Blood skeletons. They never die. I don't... Well, Castlevania 3 had method of defeating red skeletons for good, and that involved that, and only one character with one special weapon was able to do it. So that should tell you how dangerous they can be. And a tasty piece of wall meat. And these hands apparently can't be, you could say, just smacked either, so Simon has to walk into that trap and get smacked, but get prepared to smack a dangerous skeleton right real fast, or else be suffering death. That kind of putting the And that was a peril which was easily wiped out of the existence. And tables which will attack you. Yep, they are very suspicious looking. So there's no point in not smacking them to death. And we have dancing ghosts. So it looks like we are in the, you could say, fancier area of the castle. Although how much there actually is. And these kind of spinning enemies tend to be much less of a perils than they usually are. But luckily the game is a bit merciful and gives a piece of a tasty wall meat. So once again, it's a boss. Pair of ghosts dancing. With great imagination, they are called the dancing ghosts. And that's exactly what they are. And I was in quite poor shape, and I did not have what you could say the best sub-weapon of the game either, aka the sharp, the cross boomerang. So that caused me unnecessary and unwanted self-perishing. I hope the game would give me a sub-weapon. Oh, at least wiping those out with a... And I did not even mention, but the dancing ghosts have name. Fred a scare and Paula a ghoul. Yep. Real funny pun about all kinds of things. But apparently I can basically do this, try this over and over again, thanks to the one-up over there in that. So let's just try again. This time I should be able to. Okay, not into here. Yeah, they were quite nasty. And Simon looks quite awesome in that style. But the fact that I managed to die should tell you that the difficulty of the game is now ramping up. Stage 7. But so far, the game has not given so much of, you could say, familiar Castlevania musics around here. But of course, in that phase, there really weren't that much of iconic Castlevania tunes existing. I think the Symphony of the Night was the first one which really... Of course, there had been, of course, good music in Castlevania games, no doubt about nothing, no uncertainty about that. But it had not been, you could say, truly great, as in something that they would be considered really good compositions. But then again, Symphony of the Night, even judging by the name, placed a lot of emphasis on music with all the orchestrated versions of classical tunes and so many more new tunes that it would be kind of shocking. And in this space, it's interesting. The books at the background move, but they are just mobile pieces of setting. Oh, that's what I want. They do not themselves cause any, you could say, they are no, although later games would fix that would fix that, but they do not attack. There are no book enemies to attack, or at least not book enemies that attack from the bookshelves or bookcases. I think that's the word. And those things, I hate them. I used to call them cows in the... Oh yeah, they are book enemies which attack, but they are very noticeable. They are not in the sense that they are not in sense that kind of enemies that they would be unexpectedly attacking you. Nope, these are just regular run-of-the-mill pest enemies that, and because of the, you could say, quite unfriendly manner Castlevania makes damage, a swing from the gigantic monster axe tends to be about as damaging as being smacked by a flying book, even though that book... nope, I really don't like the fact that there's obviously, you could say, tiers of sub-weapons in Castlevania, meaning that some weapons are just simply better than the others. Not just in sense that situationally that at you would, as in that at this phase the, well, let's see, the holy water or firebomb, however you wanna call it, is better. Nope, it really is in a sense that, yep, the boomerang cross is all around better than, well, the cross is in general usage better than not like that. If I keep dying like that, I have to start saving the game. I don't wanna go back massive amounts. Oh, not like that. Son of a bitch. I have to... Yep. Now I have to start actually doing the save after this, you could say, deadly sequence. So let's just play the save button. Yep, now I know. Now I got the save. Oh yeah, that is you could say, God-given, God-sent mercy this game has to player. Allowing me to and the book just, I think it's moving something like a Z to S pattern. And that means it's quite a cruel system like that, and I am still saving my progress because I am in a quite poor state. Yeah, it is not so much, you could say, biggest killer Simon is usually, they might not be the monsters or anything like that, but the pits and being shoved into pits by all kinds of pests. Those would be the bigger press, and of course those statues collapse and taste of piece of wall meat. Now I don't remember. Oh, actually, I think it was an original God of War. Yep, I am that old that game would actually, once you would die in rapid pace enough, the game would offer to send you to so we put the difficulty down. And I remember that that game has one very annoying sequence, including running away from the underworld Hades, even because, well, gameplay and plot. But it would be something that there would be instant death hazards in that place, meaning that big swingy, swoopy things that would just shove Kratos to the fall to the death. And that was something that they are a matter of level design. They are not matter of basically difficulty, which is affected by things like or which affects things like enemy damage and all the enemy damage and how much damage the player does. Meaning that all that difficulty adjustment in that phase would do absolutely nothing. Oh, but that thing is so fast moving that it would be, ah, damn it, just as I was about to get through. Yep, yep. The kitty gloves have been taken off. They gave you a piece of wall meat over here. Perhaps that thing is more of an obstacle that I can just avoid instead of picking a fight with it. And I forgot to even mention the interesting little detail thing that as you cross this, the carpet rises up, meaning that if you just stand there dawdling, admiring the spike force and don't kneel down, it will actually make it so that your head is gonna hit the spikes. But of course the crouching and crouch walking solves that problem, but which is, I would say, quite interesting little extra detail in this game. Yeah, well, let's eat. Let's eat more of this. Actually, no, I forgot that. But just letting those things stomp is, you could say that. But let's just go back and see that is there anything on the right side? I am quite certain that there is. There wasn't anything really useful. Ah, and look at that. Those return, but as they do not contain anything really useful, not sure that how well you could abuse that. Ah, so it's the painting which actually does grab you. Ah, that would be a scary trap if it couldn't be avoided with a simple crouch. And even with then, it's gonna spook you, but it's much more of a meant to scare you instead of meant to be a real gameplay hazard kind of trap. And same applies to the hands grabbing Simon from the paintings. They are much more of a atmospheric danger traps instead of real gameplay hazards. While the and that one has some gameplay function as it stops you from that. And we are this must have been the courtyard, but now we facing a boss monster, aka Armored Knight, which had an axe and a sword, but just regular exchange of blows makes it fall. Ah, Simon looks quite silly in that position. And a nice orb zone transition to different location. Yep, it is not that easy. Obviously now you're gonna be dropped down to another location which will spin around quite a lot. These are the dungeons of Castlevania. And this is also the place where I will end this recording. See you next time. See ya.